Good afternoon once again. I just want to have a quick word this afternoon about a fighter that was on the undercard last night of the Zolani Tete Paul Butler IBF super flyweight title fight. That was a fighter by the name of Derry Matthews, who is should be quite familiar with pretty much everyone in Britain's boxing scene, if you like, or if you're a British boxing fan. Maybe anyone not of UK knowledge or boxing knowledge probably won't know his name all that well. But of course, he's fighting Richar Abril. I believe it's in April for Richar Abril's WBA World Lightweight title, and it's a fight that's only really taking place because initially, of course, Anthony Crolla got an injury whilst interrupting two burglars trying to rob his neighbour's house. And that fight between him and Abril originally got cancelled. Derry Matthews stepped up, and then Abril had to, of course, pull out with injury. So now it's Matthews who gets the shot because Abril's obviously keeping to his commitments, which is something I like to see in a fighter, to be honest. Does anyone, though, really give Derry Matthews a shot against Abril? I mean, I will do a video about this fight much closer to the time. But just on last night's performance from Derry Matthews, he kind of boxed like he had the swag of a champion without actually boxing like a champion, if that makes sense. You know, like even the commentators mentioned in the early rounds, he was boxing like he was on top of the world, a lot of confidence, looked very relaxed. You know, he did enough to win the fight. Of course, won his fight by a convincing stoppage. It was a good right hand, straight through the guard, and did the business. Got a few rounds in ahead of April, I suppose. But did he really look all that good in that fight? Apart from the right hand that ended it, I would say no. But then saying that, people who have been like hyping up Abril, if you like, let's have a look at his record in a bit more detail. He's not really a massive hitting fighter. I think he's only got something like 8 KOs on his record or something like that. You know, he's not exactly a well-established, hard-hitting fighter. So Derry Matthews has got a lot of heart, and I do think he's got a good chin. So I don't really see Abril being able to stop Matthews unless he just really gives him a beat down over the course of 12 rounds to the point where it would have to be stopped. I don't really see Matthews being knocked out. And if you look at Avril's defeats on his record, he's got 3 of them. 2 of them will be a lot recognisable on British shores. Bradus Prescott being the most recognised, of course, for his one round knockout of Amir Khan a few years ago, which a lot of people will remember for a long time. And then the other defeat on his record is Bam Bam Brandon Rios, who again should be quite well known to British boxing fans. He's been on UK TV quite a few times on Box Nation, and we know what Brandon Rios is all about. He's not exactly a world-class technical specialist fighter. He is more of a fan's entertainer, go forward, front foot pressure fighter, and he's been in quite a few wars, which I've loved to see him in over the course of a few years. And Abril lost on a split decision to Rios, which makes me question, with Rios not being exactly the most technical gifted fighter, but more of a pressure fighter, it would make me question Avril's capability to handle maybe a quick, skilled fighter who can put him on the back foot a little bit. Is Derry Matthews that fighter? I don't want to put Derry Matthews down or discredit him too much, but I can't see him being accurate enough. I mean, one thing that Abril has got is he's got a good knack of riding with punches and getting out of the way, even though he looks quite slow and quite stiff sometimes. But if you watch him, he has got kind of a good defence. And I can't see that Matthews being able to get into that range. I can't see him being able to be in Avril's face consistently enough, landing consistent enough bombs. The one thing I would say, though, he's always got a puncher's chance, but I wouldn't count on Avril's been in there with some hard-hitting fighters, and he's took them the distance. So I can't see Matthews stopping Abril either. So I would say on that occasion, I do think Abril will win that fight. Just early doors thinking about this fight without looking into too much detail. And I do think Matthews will come up short, although give a good account of himself. I would be interested to see the Anthony Crolla fight against Abril, though. I do think that is a fight that would be a lot more competitive. Again, with no disrespect to Derry Matthews, because I do like Derry Matthews. I have enjoyed watching him over the years on the British boxing scene. So But I do think Anthony Collier is stylistically set up better to give Abril problems than Derry Matthews is. I think that could be more of an interesting fight, and I think Anthony Collier would have a good chance of winning that fight. But, you know, I'm not writing off Abril. You know, he's a sly little fighter. Comes of the Cuban nature, so you can never write him off. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, this is just an early thoughts video. You know, this is not like a detailed video. The only reason I've done this video today is just because I watched Derry Matthews last night in that 8-rounder, stopping that opponent. I can't remember the opponent's name now, but you know that goes to show it's like something junior. You know, I've got one of them long names. He's been around the scene. I've seen him fight before. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I just can't see Matthews having enough for Abril. I still, without discrediting Matthews, I still don't really see why the fight should take place. But there you go. I'll be supporting him anyway, and hoping he wins. Let me know what you guys think. Leave me a comment.